In today's video, we're going to be doing a data deep dive and we're going to be analyzing the entire Scarlet and Violet era, looking for the best performing set over the past 3 months. But before we jump straight into this, make sure you leave a comment below. Let me know what you think is the best performing set overall. And don't skip forward, just leave that comment now and then we'll come back to it. But let's just jump straight into a few things before we get into the big data. Now, just a few points worth noting is we've seen some chase cards starting to move again. For example, we've talked about the Bubble Mew recently, up around 20%. In this video, we're also going to be factoring in both chase cards and sealed product. So it's not just one or the other. So you kind of have to take both of those into account. So we've seen the Bubble Mew up around 20%. But we've also seen cards dropping in the past 3 months. Obviously, Team Rocket's Mewtwo starting to decline, currently 10% down over the past 3 months. A little harder to judge a new set because usually the initial prices are pretty inflated, but I think it's time that we include Destined Rivals on this list. And then you have obviously the other end of the spectrum, which is like the Umbreon from Prismatic that's down almost 30% in the past 3 months. But then you look at sealed, and your Prismatic PCETB, not up that much, but it is up around 6%. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as the metrics between chase card and top sealed products. So let's just jump straight into this. So I have this little chart that I made, and I'll have to turn off my webcam here real quick just so you guys can see everything that we're looking at. Now, what we're going to notice here is the red indicates the top chase card of the set, while the blue represents the top sealed product. So for mainline sets, these are booster boxes. For specialty sets, I chose PCETBs because those are the most desirable. So starting off with one of the newest sets now, Black Bolt and White Flare are not on the list just because they're too new. Next time we make this video, they'll be on here. But for now, Destined Rivals, you have the Mewtwo that we mentioned earlier, down 10% right here. Albeit the booster box is continuing to rise in value, up 18%. So overall, if you want to play the game where you bought one chase card and one sealed product, if you want to add the percentages together, you'd be up 8% overall with Destined Rivals. That's not usually how a lot of people play it, but you can play it that way if you want. You'll see across the board, the only thing that is consistent is that sealed is up across the board. All the blues are up. So that is the one consistency here. Journey Together down here, the Clefairy, unfortunately, not dropping as hard as last time we made this video, but it is down around 26%. However, the booster box is continuing to rise over the past 3 months. Once again, all of this is from TCG Player and over the past 3 months. So very consistent. I went on as of this morning and pulled all this data fresh. So this is fresh information that you guys are seeing as of this morning. So you got the Journey Together boxes up 10% and the Clefairy down 26%. Not a big surprise there. Now, we do have a bit of a shakeup from the last time we made this video for Stellar Crown. The Terapagos is currently not the most expensive card. It's actually the Squirtle. And the Squirtle is only down roughly around 9%. Really nice illustration rares between the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle. So that has taken the lead for top chase card of Stellar Crown. And we're seeing booster box prices up around 10% for Stellar Crown. So kind of overall a wash if you were to combine the two. You'd be up 1% if you wanted to combine those ones. And then the Pikachu from Surging Sparks continuing to drop. Not as much. It's only down around 9%. And the booster box is currently looking like this is probably one of the worst growing sets. Booster box is up around 2%. So overall, if you bought one and one, you'd be down 7% overall between the two if you're playing it that way. And then we had another shakeup as far as chase cards go for everyone's favorite set, Shrouded Fable. You can see the Earthen Vessel is now the most valuable card, and it's down 6%, so it's not down too bad. But the PC ETBs are still continuing to move up, a pretty decent gain, 22%. You can see outperforming everything else in the sealed category that we've seen so far. So Shrouded Fable actually not looking that bad. Overall, still up a decent percentage even when you combine the two. And then you have Paradox Rift, which unfortunately I still think is a good set, but the Groudon is just getting hit a little hard. It's down 12% with the booster boxes from Paradox Rift being up only 8%. So overall, you would have a negative percentage. If you combine the two, you'd be down 4% overall for the set. Now, the Mew that we talked about from Paldean Fates, up pretty big, 20%. So this is our biggest and our first chase card gain. And you pair that with the PC ETB, which is doing really well at the moment as well, 37%. So you'd be up 57% overall if you bought one of each 3 months ago. So that would be a very good gain. Things are looking really good for Paldean Fates, specifically the Bubble Mew, obviously. The other cards like the Charizard and the Gardevoir SIRs are not really gaining value like the Bubble Mew currently is. Maybe the Bubble Mew will pull them up over time, but currently the Bubble Mew is the only one really doing anything big there. And then a little bit of a shocker, we do have Obsidian Flames, the Charizard here, starting to move up in the positive, up around 11% for the Obsidian Flames Charizard. So that's a pretty decent gain, actually outperforming the booster box, which is, it looks like on this chart, the only example of when that is actually happening, where you have the chase card going up more than the sealed. So that would be Obsidian Flames. The booster box still up 9%, so still a decent little gain. So 20% overall between the two. And then here's where you probably have the biggest discrepancy. We have the 151 from Charizard. The Charizard from 151 rather. It's barely up. It's up less than a percentage, but when I put on this chart, it wasn't wanting to show it, so it's kind of flat. I think this is actually technically like a 0% roughly. It was less than 1%, but for the sake of this video, the Charizard's up 1%, and the PC ETB is up massive, 63%. So 151 is where you see the biggest discrepancy, where sealed is absolutely dominating by a large margin, and you'd be 64% if you add these up, both of those together, looking just super strong. 151, the sealed just cannot be stopped, and we're seeing some honestly insane prices on the PC ETBs right now, and those are nearing in on $1,000 for a PC ETB in the near future. So that's definitely insane to see. So 151 showing its dominance on the sealed side. And then we have the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. Now this set looking really strong overall, because you have, the Carp was getting hit for a while. Like a lot of the singles, the Bubble Mew was getting hit. All of the chase cards were getting hit. So this is one of the other chase cards that's actually up. This is up the biggest, is the Magikarp. So bouncing back up 25%. And then you have the booster boxes obviously going pretty big, up 40% in the past 3 months. So 65% overall, which would just be barely edging out 151 if you combine these numbers. So technically, if you put Paldea Evolved in the comments as the best performing set over the past 3 months, then you would be right. Depending on how you look at it, like I said, if you're mainly getting sealed, obviously 151 is going to be the winner there. But so it depends how you look at it. And if you're looking at chase card only, then it's Paldea Evolved. If you're combining, you see what I'm saying? So that's currently what we're seeing. And then we got to talk about Prismatic. So Prismatic not looking very good overall, because the Umbreon is down 29% in the past 3 months, with the PC ETBs only up around 7%. We've seen some additional restocks of the PC ETBs, and they just haven't been able to grow as much because we've seen more hitting the market. So definitely this set down overall, down, what would that be, negative 22% if you combine a chase card and one sealed product. So that's currently what you'd be looking at, but mainly the Umbreon being down the most out of any chase card currently. and looks like more prismatic hitting the market. So we'll probably see the Umbreon continue to drop. Where it bottoms out, that's going to be the interesting point moving forward. So that's something that I am keeping a close eye on. Temporal Forces, we have the Raging Bolt getting hit pretty hard for a chase card, down around 20%. With the sealed booster boxes up 17, so you'd be down around 3% overall if you combine the two. So that is a little unfortunate, but this isn't very surprising. Once again, this is more consistent to what we've been seeing overall, with chase cards going down. And then Twilight Masquerade. The Greninja, which was the top card of the era for a while. It did hold that crown for a while. This one's down 10%. And then we have the Greninja right here, the booster box up 21%. So this one would still be up 11% overall if you were to have bought in the two. And then lastly, we have Scarlet and Violet base. And Scarlet and Violet base down 14% for the Gardevoir, which I still feel is a nice chase card. It's fairly affordable compared to some of these other bigger name cards, but it's been hit down around 14%. And then you have a base set booster box slowing down a little bit, only up 6%. So you'd be down overall, 8% overall if you were to combine the two. So this is kind of what we're looking at overall, with, once again, just to summarize, 151 winning sealed by a landslide, but you have Paldea Evolved winning if you combine the two between the Magikarp and the sealed. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And then obviously the Magikarp winning for the top chase card that's moved up the most, with the Bubble Mew being in that second tier there. So we'll have to keep an eye on these moving forward. But what we can say for certain is that sealed product continues to perform very well. It's much more consistent, even when it gets hit with reprints, like we have seen with Surging Sparks. Unfortunately, is probably that biggest example right now of it's up only 2% over the past 3 months for Surging Sparks as far as booster boxes go. So, that is what reprints can do. And I think there was a little bit of, I don't know if I want to call it like fatigue for that set, but it was so hyped. And then we've had some good sets coming out lately that I think people have kind of forgotten about Surging Sparks. I think that set will continue to do well long term. We just got to give it a bit more time, eat through some more of that supply when it comes to booster box pricing. I think it'll be looked back on as a good set from the era as well. It's a deep enough set that it'll perform well. So I wouldn't be too worried currently when it comes to that kind of price. So Destined Rivals obviously is another one that's starting to move up kind of big as far as numbers go, like individual booster box pricing, not percentage wise overall, because it did come out the gate pretty high. So it hasn't been able to have as crazy of a percentage gain, but being over $300 now for Destined Rivals is very interesting. And obviously your Paldea Evolved booster boxes leading the way there. So that's just a kind of an overview of the entire Scarlet and Violet era. I like seeing the chart. For me, I'm a very visual person, so it helps me just kind of see where things are at. Let me know if you guys want to see this. I think I should do this maybe a little more frequently with some other eras. Probably we'll do Scarlet and Violet. I'd like to do Scarlet and Violet and then Sword and Shield. And then maybe as we get further into Mega, comparing the last three eras. And I don't know if you guys want to see more you just want to do it over the last year or over the last 3 months, or whatever. I think just over the past month is a little too soon, not a wide enough time frame. So I kind of like the 3-month window, maybe 6 months or a year is also interesting to look at for some of this stuff. But we need longer time frames for newer sets to come out. So we'll see. We can definitely do that with Sword and Shield and beyond, because that stuff is much older. But I definitely think I want to do at least a Sword and Shield update one. But let me know like what kind of time frames you guys think are the most interesting. I think at least a 3 month minimum for most of this stuff is a good starting point. But yeah, like I said, I like visualizing where things are at. It just kind of shows you what sets are performing in comparison to other sets. And like I said, you could look at it for your chase cards only. You can look at it for your sealed product only, and also just keep in mind that these numbers, we could fudge these numbers depending on the sealed, like for on the sealed side, we could change the product because not every set has like not, for example, sometimes the PCETB outperforms the booster box. So we could have possibly fudged these numbers to make these numbers look a little bit better depending on the set. And then also like some sets have UPCs, like 151 has the UPC, so that number would look different if you're having that be your main thing. Or maybe we can do an even deeper dive where if you guys want to see where we combine the data between maybe we'll take the top 3 cards and then like the top 3 sealed products. So it would be like if it was a mainline set, you could do your booster box, your PC ETB, and then a regular ETB maybe, and kind of combine those numbers and kind of see where that's been at. That could be interesting as well, and just like a different way to look at it. So, but anyways, I just wanted to do a little more data driven, just kind of look at where things are at. So that's all I have for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.